I'm Kelly Thompson, and you're listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Hello and welcome once again to Super Connectivity on the Capes and Lunatics Network, a part of Southgate Media Group. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the man who prepares. The man who is the living embodiment of the Boy Scout oath. Phil, sorry, what's your name?
You already said you got the Phil part. Phil, me and Perich.
That's the guy. I was at the water park all day. A lot of sun, it's a very nice little water park in Elizabeth, New Jersey. It's a free park, and it's got like a water slide and sprinklers, and the kids run around and they have grand fun. And I get burnt by the sun because I do not like the sun. And the sun is not too much of a fan of me either, so it's reciprocal. Okay, let me think here. So I want to talk a little bit about, we talked about this yesterday on the actual Capes and Lunatics broadcast. We're going to talk a little bit about the Sentry. One of the things I find, oh yes, you're watching us? Oh.
You said those
Okay. So yes, apparently there's a delay. Tristan is watching us live, and he is showing us, except there is a delay, so what I'm saying isn't what I'm saying, but that's what I have just said. So, okay, sit down, Tristan. Yes, he's dancing. Yes, I know. That is the puppets in the background. Yes. Okay. So now we know there is a few second delay on these live feeds. So Phil has more than enough time to bleep us if he needs to. So anyway, getting back to the story at hand, the Sentry. So one of the things I found most fascinating about the Sentry, and this is going to go up a little late, so some spoilers on here, is we do have this basic mystery of someone stole the MacGuffinatron that allows Sentry to enter into the pocket dimension where he can be the Sentry.
So that's the thing. I was like, is that an actual other dimension? Or I didn't know if that was just like a mental, he's physically transferring his mind into another dimension, or was it just, I wasn't sure if it was just like an artificial like VR thing.
Well, I have to think that there has to be some sense of reality to it. This is something created by Doctor Strange, according to him. So that seems to be the case there. Now, what I find fascinating is that, of course, what we see in it is what appears to be the Void.
Yes.
Coming through, which shouldn't be, because the Void is, of course, supposed to be Bob Reynolds. But we also have another interesting aspect of this, which is Scout wishing he could go into the machine. And I'm very glad to have Scout back, because Scout was kind of forgotten about after the original Sentry run. Nice to have Scout back. But the idea is I wonder if Scout entering into this universe has brought out his Void, because of course Scout got his powers in a similar way to how the Sentry got his powers. It's the same formula, just like a lesser dose. And maybe what we're going to see is that Scout, filled with anger and bitterness and whatnot, is actually going to become the living embodiment of the Void, and we're going to have now a separate Void and Sentry going forward.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I mean, that's just a crazed fan theory based on one issue. What do you think, Phil?
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Scout could have his own Void, or are we going to find out that, like, the Void, it's not a part of Bob, it just used him as, like, a portal into our world, and since he's kind of been blocked that way, he's like, well, I can enter the world through Scout.
Yeah.
There's a similarity in how they got their powers, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Now, I'm very fascinated by the Sentress, and I'm wondering if we're going to somehow bring the Sentress into the Marvel Universe proper. Now, for those who don't remember, the Sentress was originally from the Age of Sentry comic books, which sort of did like the old, like, Silver Age and Golden Age Sentries stories from the past, which were all very fascinating and really, really great. And honestly, I have to say, I loved the Man with the Tridimensional Mind. And I certainly hope if anyone else comes back, I want the Man with the Tridimensional Mind to come back, because he was a excellent character. So, I mean, these are my big hopes for the Sentry. I'm very excited by this book, by the way. I am definitely getting that put onto the pull list. You know, I definitely think this will be the second book on pull. Yeah, I mean, not counting West Coast Avengers, which got pre-pulled because it has Gwenpool.
Yes.
Don't disappoint me, Miss Thompson. Don't disappoint me.
I don't think she will.
I don't think she will either, but I'm just saying. Oh, okay. Then let's also talk Marvel 2-in-1 for a minute.
Yes, number 7.
We finally get our big reveal of our evil, well, not evil, but well, sort of evil. Our guide, who is supposed to be helping Ben and Johnny, and has not been helping them as much as she should.
Oh, yes, the doctor's motive about what's she looking for.
Yeah, was Dr. Rechna, I believe. She's looking for universes where her sister is brain dead so that she can put her brain into a decent body from another universe. And it's one of these weird things where it's like, couldn't you just clone her a new body? Since that's a pretty well-established technology in this universe.
And
I mean, as I've said, literally 1940s technology.
Yeah, but unless whatever's wrong with her body is genetic and any clone you make would have that same problem.
But then how does she know any of the ones she's going to find out here aren't going to have the same problem?
Well, true.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. But, and then, of course, she disappears with the multi-sec, or MacGuffinatronic for the episode.
Stranding Ben and Johnny, but Doom gets taken along on her ride, so I guess we're to assume Doom comes back and saves them.
Yeah, I'm sure Doom will come back and save them because he's trying to be good. This is all pre-Bendising, you know.
Hey, I need that for our puppet show.
Okay, go do your puppet show, Tristan. Because I'm trying to do a podcast.
No.
Well, I'm sure they do like the puppet show. It's just don't use me as the stage.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I just have a room that's high enough for it to put this on.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, and you think
Yes.
they forgot about this, but we get one page of the Mad Thinker.
I loved our new Mad Reed.
No.
I will become Reed Richards, and we find out that he had graying temples the whole time, which is delightful. You know, I always love the Mad Thinker, although he's gotten a little bit madder, I think, than usual in this run. You know, it's interesting. Oh, you know what I actually did just see today?
What?
I actually have started watching the second season of The Amazing Spider-Man, or the new Spider-Man series.
Oh, on Disney XD? Yeah.
Yes. I caught bits of The Return of Dr. Octopus, and I did get to see Battlestar, and Tristan asked if he was supposed to be an evil Captain America. I had to say, no, he's technically a good guy. But I liked before that with the Tinkerer and Baseball Team.
The summer vacation, the first episode, yeah.
This first episode, how he thwipped his summer vacation.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, and this is a cute series, you know. I know that there's probably a lot of, you know, as always, you know, the 14-year-olds who go, oh, my childhood, because a new cartoon has come out with characters that aren't the characters that they liked. Like I said, I think it's a fun, enjoyable show. I saw bits of the first season, and the second season seems really nice, and I really like the fact that they have both Miles and Peter as sort of colleagues and friends. I think that makes a very nice and a very different dynamic, because in this universe, Miles and Peter are actually contemporaries.
Yeah, they're at the same age. Yeah, same school. Yes.
Yes, you know, and along those lines, it's like Miles is the much more confident and collected one too. Peter is very, very much in his own head the whole time, and I'm glad they kept Aunt May's gray hair for it.
Oh yes.
In the MCU, she's dying it. But so back to Marvel 2-in-1. It is an interesting way that they're handling Doom, because it's interesting because we are in this gray area for Doom right now, because we do have Bendis, you know, re-Deadpooling his face.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, you know, it is what it is. But I'm going to say this. I don't think that means Doom is going to go back to being evil. I really don't. I actually think that, you know, I think it's like Lisa becoming a vegetarian. It's going to have some staying power. Doom wanting to be a hero. Just like I think that, you know, even Otto still wants to be a hero as he's being the superior octopus. And I think he is feeling that he's separated from it a bit, but I think he still has some sense of nobility. Now, his sense of nobility is easily manipulated because obviously he has no problem working with Hydra, but then again, you know, he doesn't see any difference between Hydra and any other group of feeble-minded people who want to rule the world that he can exploit to his own ends, you know? I mean, that's the thing from Otto. When you're better than everybody else, you really, you know, you find fascists cute.
But no, something else I saw. There was a promo picture somewhere today for Spider-Geddon. It's an upcoming Spider-Man crossover. Mm-hmm. I guess it's supposed to, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a sequel to Spider-Verse, but they had a promo pic of like all these Spider-Men, and they look like someone wearing a superior Spider-Man suit. So I don't know if it's Otto from another time, another dimension, or maybe, you know, it's him and his new clone body just throws the suit back on.
Yeah, well, you know, he is still the superior Spider-Man in my heart. And it's, you know, he's got his new svelte Otto body, Otto Parker body.
Did he give himself, I'm trying to remember if since he's in a new clone body, did he give himself any spider powers? superpowers. I'm sure he
No,
could.
no, no, yeah, it's a Parker body,
Okay.
but with auto DNA,
Mm-hmm.
because he makes the point when he makes the point when he first goes into it. Yes, still some of that Parker looks, but you can see the noble visions of Octavius underneath. You know,
I just thought it'd be interesting if like he didn't have any spider powers and he like basically recreated them like with mechanical electronic means, and he tells Parker, you know, anything you can do, I can invent. You know, I can invent and make myself do better.
No, if he was the Goblin, if he was Norman Osborn, he'd do that. He'd be totally in his head the whole time. Otto's not in his head; he's in your head, literally. So I don't think Otto would do that. No, he gave himself spider powers because why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
they're very nice to have, you know. And not only that, but you know, they help keep you in shape. You know, you got that spider strength; it burns off a lot of calories. So, and we do know the man loves pastries.
Spider sense, more new ones. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's an annoying superpower, but it's still a superpower.
Proximity alarm in your head. Hey.
Yes. And has he taken up smoking again? I hope not.
I haven't. I don't believe I've seen him smoking.
Yeah, so he's taking better care of himself. You know, he wants. It's all for Maria.
Oh yeah, that last body was wasting away, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because you know he was a cancerous lump, and you know you can only do so much. It isn't a cancerous lump, and you mean his or which body?
Well, right before he switched bodies with Peter, you know, he was like that shriveled up husk almost, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, you know, I mean they do that with him from time to time. You know, that's egg Otto, I like to say, where he's just, you know, that's our Otto.
But if he ever goes, I mean, even with the clone body, he needs to go back to the mechanical arms. And I love in the 90s when he wore like that white 3-piece suit.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, well, you know, I really think he's not a man who needs a leotard. That's, I mean, now he's going to wear the leotard because he wants to show off. You know, now he's got a reason to wear a leotard. You know?
Show off his pecs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, look at that six-pack, spider pack. You know, I mean, he is not a man he is a man who wants to wear the spandex, you know? And that's the thing, you know, that's one of the reasons these guys wear that spandex, you know. You know, that's why they wear the spandex. That's why Tony builds pectoral muscles into his armor. Let's be honest here. He doesn't need to put like, oh, here are my pectoral muscles and here's my abdominal muscles. And it's like, yeah, okay, Tony. That's my favorite. What if Tony Stark had an eating disorder instead of a drinking problem? It was from one of the. They did this one. What if it was like all comedy what ifs and
okay.
It was just, you know, and he just gets super fat, you know, because he becomes, you know, he just eats to excess, and then his like rockets can't lift him up, and he has to go to Overeaters Anonymous, I believe. It's demon in a brisket. Okay. What else is there? Do you want to talk some quantum realm for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. So I mean, you know, we are rushing towards the eventual release of Ant-Man and Wasp, the next big thing in Marvel. One thing I gotta say, I'm wondering if it's gonna do as well as, I mean, it's following Black Panther and then Infinity War.
It probably won't do as good, but I bet it's gonna do. I bet you it's probably gonna do more business than the first Ant-Man movie.
Well, I mean, possibly. I mean, you know, it all comes into like, yeah, I'm worried they didn't really push enough on it, or maybe they're doing a late push. I'm
seeing commercials on like every show I watch, so they're pushing.
Yeah, I know, but I guess I don't know if they're giving us, hey, you know that you want to know what's going to happen in the next Infinity War? Watch this. Because, and this is what I'm going to say, is that there was some teaser footage from Avengers 4 Electric Boogaloo that was released, which is essentially Scott Lang explaining to Tony Stark about the quantum realm and how you can use this to travel. This was at some con. This is the reporting from the cons that we don't have the footage, you don't have the video. They're like disabling your phones when you go in now. It's like, you know, you got it, man, in this day and age.
Do you think Ant-Man and the Wasp makes $100 million the opening weekend?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, it should. I mean, you know, it has a lot of good faith from the last actual Ant-Man and Wasp film, and it's off of all this stuff. You know,
it's the first MCU movie after Infinity War, so I mean, if nothing else, are people going to go for those end credit scenes?
Well, yeah, because I think we're going to get what's going on with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, maybe
we're going to get the other end of that pager call. You know.
Ooh.
Yes, and that would be neat. You know, just seeing.
I wasn't sure if they were going to say that for the Captain Marvel movie, like flashback through the origin, and then at the end of Captain Marvel, show her getting that call.
Well, you know, maybe. Well, I mean, you might do that too. Or they could do like they did with Winter Soldier,
Mhm.
or not Winter Soldier, with where they did the scene of Civil War at the end of, what was that, Thor: A Dark World?
Yeah, I think so.
At
Yeah.
the end of Thor, and they just put a random scene, and so you could reuse that scene again if you had to
Mhm.
for that, so you could have that last end credit. But I think people are going to want to see something with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, well, Captain Marvel. Yeah, I was gonna say unless they do someone else, but yeah, well, because I didn't know because Captain Marvel comes out in March. It's like 2 months before Infinity War. Avengers 4.
So Electric Boogaloo. Okay, how about this? Might be interesting. What if? Because I'm sure we're gonna have flashback scenes to the '80s, to Black Goliath, to Hank Pym Ant-Man when he was young and beautiful. And for what it's worth, I'm trying to remember who's the actor who plays Ant-Man again? Can I remember if it's a Sheen or no, the Hank Pym. That's Michael Douglas, right?
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas. I can never remember if it's a Douglas or a Sheen.
Winning.
Yes, but no, there's more than one Sheen. He could have been Emilio Estevez. But Mike Douglas, if you get some flashback scenes and they're doing science, you could have, I forget what Marvel's code name on Earth was. I know
Walter Lawson.
Yeah, you could have, Dr. Lawson in a scene.
Oh, yeah.
As they're working on this, a secret sealed project, and says, "Oh, Dr. Lawson, could you take a look at this for me?"
Because I wonder if the Quantum Realm's going to fit in with any Marvel stuff, because Marvel and Rick Jones switched places out of the negative zone, but like years later when Marvel's son and Rick Jones got bonded together in the Peter David issue, in the Peter David series, they were switching out of the microverse.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, and they may play with that. Oh, that would be very interesting if that's how we get a Rick Jones into the Marvel universe. If we can get a Rick Jones through Marvel,
maybe.
I mean, that would be kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm not as versed on exactly the whole of Marvel's history, but that would be interesting. I'm mostly. I mean, I would love to see the Quantum Band show up. As we get the Quantum Realm. Have Professor Vaughn at Shield Academy take a look at these, and then have his idiot son say, "Hey, Dad, what are these?"
Quasar there. No, his son was a Shield agent.
I know. I'm picking.
I know.
Just like I pick on Nightwing. I really want Nightwing 74, man. I think that's going to be a great book.
I'll write it, DC.
Yes. It's that Batman 66 story, but the Robin after he moves on, and then, man, what would like Tim Drake 1974 be like in the Batman 66 universe?
I don't know.
Played by little what's his name? Ronnie Howard. Ronnie Howard is Tim Drake. Timmy Drake. There we go.
Good Lord. Make
it happen, universe. Alternate universe. Make it happen.
Oh, but back to this Ant-Man and Wasp thing. You were reading some article before about was it something about when Scott Lang's in the quantum realm, he could see that original accident where
yes. So
Janet Van Dyne was lost and stuff. So
apparently there is this Easter egg, and they say look for some, because they said this is like one of these things where they like give you that hint for that rare Easter egg, and then no one figures out what it is, and then now someone has to say, okay, actually this is what it was. Apparently you can see the silhouette of Janet Van Dyne's Wasp in the quantum realm when he's there, and see her reflected in his helmet. So I would have to, if I was a guy who had Blu-rays, I would have to go and like do this frame by frame search, but I do not even have a Blu-ray player.
Ooh,
so what would I do with all these Blu-rays?
I might have to do that.
Yeah, go back and get us some screen captures, Phil.
But I thought maybe you were saying that like he could see the past event of her getting lost. So maybe like a rough form of time travel. But then Michael Douglas tells him, "Oh, it's too dangerous." But then once the whole Thanos thing goes down, Hank Pym comes to Tony Stark and I'm like, well, we do have it's really risky, but we have this time travel thing.
Well, I really hope they don't solve Avengers 4 with time travel. Time travel is not good. It's not good when the X-Men do it, and the Fantastic Four.
So you just want them to drag everyone out of the Soul Stone.
I want them to do something.
Well, they're gonna have to. They got Spider-Man movie coming up. They got Black Panther 2 coming up. They got Guardians.
I actually what I've said is they don't have to drag anyone out of anything. The effect of blinking people out of reality was because of the reality stone.
Yes.
And we know when the reality stone has a limited range, and when that range is exceeded, everything returns to its normal state. Interestingly enough, that means that really the reality stone probably couldn't actually kill Gamora or Drax in that scene. So everything we see in that scene with not Gamora, but Drax and Mantis.
Oh yeah.
When they're
facing Thanos. Okay, yeah.
when they're facing Thanos, that they don't die suggests that the reality stone doesn't have the power to kill. It can simply adjust reality.
Yeah,
everything has to remain in that reality, but it can be reformed.
But was he pushing it at the end of the movie there because he had all 6 stones, and then once he did it, the gauntlet was all like fried and.
Yeah, but the stones are all still together.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He had the boost of all 6 when he did that.
Yes.
The Mantis and Drax, he didn't have all 6.
Okay, so if you've ever played Mage the Gathering, or not Mage the Gathering, was it Mage the Gathering? No, wasn't the Gathering? No, Mage the Ascension. All of these White Wolf games. They had this thing about Prime. Any of your spells to last more than an instant, you have to have Prime, which means you have to be able to create a flow of magic into the spell to make the spell last. This is similar to what we're saying here. The reason the Reality Stone can do this is because it's altering reality through all of space and time. But it needs the space and the time stones to do that. Once you separate the Reality Stone from the space and time stones, everyone will come back into existence. All of those ashes will just swirl back into people.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Because they weren't killed, they were removed from existence. And that's a very specific thing he says he does to them when he does that.
And I think there's gonna be something wrong with the universe. They're gonna have to bring everyone back just to repair it. Forget whatever effect the gauntlet has on the universe, but I mean, you just removed half the life in the universe. That's gonna have repercussions on the fabric of the universe.
And for what it's worth, as I've said, I wonder if, as a part of Ant-Man and Wasp, we're going to get into that macroverse. Because remember, when Hank Pym is the Scientist Supreme, it's when he's exploring the macroverse, and that there is this Project Goliath, and we do see 65-foot tall Ant-Man, and it could suggest that they are going to do something with that other end of the quantum realm, and possibly that introduction to Eternity. And Eternity giving Hank Pym knowledge or maybe giving Bill Foster knowledge. Maybe Bill Foster's the Scientist Supreme. We'll have to see. Or maybe it's all Loki the whole time. Because he's got a Tesseract, and he can move about space, and he can do his little glamours. Loki ain't dead. You mark my words. And like I said, I don't think Doctor Strange is dead. I don't think he was blinked out of existence either. I think that he astral projected before it happened. And he's going to be maybe a ghost taking over people's bodies in Avengers 4, doing that whole Charles Xavier thing.
Either that or he's in some artifact. Maybe he's able to communicate with Wong, because we don't know if Wong disappeared.
I'm willing to wager that all the magic users survived. And I'm willing to wager this because if we are going to say that Captain Marvel survived, there has to be a reason why Nick Fury knew she would survive. And one of the things about Captain Marvel is that her existence is supposed to be, the effect of the Psychomagatron, which is like basically it's what allowed Rick Jones to conjure all the Golden Age heroes to fight during the Kree-Skrull War. It's basically that idea that you just unlock that mental power and you can create anything in the universe. That basically all the powers of the Infinity Stones are in little Rick Jones's mind. Think about that for a minute. Or theoretically in all humans' minds, because we are the best planet. That's why Gaia lives here.
So do you think Fury was absolutely sure Captain Marvel survived, or is that just like a Hail Mary?
I think it's partially a Hail Mary play, but I think partially it is going based on what we know of Captain Marvel. I think there's a very real possibility that she is what I like to call real unto herself, meaning that her existence, because of the Psychomagnetron, maybe is separate from reality as a whole. That she had, and they're up in her part. She's basically supposed to be our Superman, the Marvel Superman. They want that to happen. I think they might get it.
Are we going for Marvel's Wonder Woman?
No, Marvel has a Wonder Woman. Her name is Black Widow.
I mean, like a superpower, someone with actual powers.
Black Widow is no slouch. She's
no. But I'm just saying.
She's got some kind of Widow program stuff.
Well,
she's got some Winter Soldier in her blood. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but do they want like their own Wonder Woman who can, fight Dark God?
Well, I mean, even Wonder Woman's, has that one weakness, bullets.
Hey, Black Widow could have been their Wonder Woman first, but they didn't put to do that. So they drug their feet on that solo movie.
And for what it's worth, Jessica Jones is kind of Marvel's Wonder Woman, a drunken Wonder Woman, a drunken surly Wonder Woman, and maybe next season, Hellcat. We're waiting. Yeah, but anything is possible. It's the quantum realm.
Oh, I don't want to spoil too much, but I told you I watched Luke Cage episode 5. Guess who was in Luke Cage episode 5?
I do know that Tilda Dillard makes a appearance at some point.
Well, yeah, she's been in and out since like episode 2. Foggy Nelson.
Oh, Foggy. Why not? It makes sense.
It's pretty good. What they have him doing.
He's a lawyer. He's like the one good lawyer in the Marvel universe. The one lawyer not lying to his clients or thinking with his labia majora. So I'm saying, man, that whole girl, she's got a problem keeping it in her pants. She does, man. It's like, and she is so easy to manipulate when you do that to her, man. She is always thinking with her labia majora. That's all I'm saying.
Magical cures.
Well, I guess she's a good lawyer, but yeah, like I said, very easy to manipulate. I don't want Jen Walters. I've waited too long for Jen Walters, but I'm still hoping we get like some Doc Samson, some Stern, some Abomination. Abomination may not have survived it. Who survived? That's always the question. But
I just don't know if we're gonna get any of those Hulk characters because you have to make like a side deal with Universal or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Nah. And Universal might be mad now because, they outbid them for the Fox stuff.
We don't need you. We got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or no. We don't need your Hulk. We have Ben Grimm back.
Well, you know what? You could say that, but they already let Thunderbolt Ross in. And he's a cross-movie Thunderbolt Ross. He's the Thunderbolt Ross from the last Hulk film.
Yes.
So, clearly that is in universe and in continuity. They've referenced it many times. The only people who don't reference it is the guy selling tapes in Harlem. You know what? Probably because he's selling the tapes in Harlem and it might be a little too close. Like, talk about the alien invasion downtown. People can like, oh, yeah, that's so cool. But it's like, no, man, that was my grandma's house, man.
Well, what pushes more units? Two super strong guys just wrecking Harlem, or an alien invasion over Manhattan?
Well, he keeps on taping Luke Cage and what he's doing, but just punching some of those super strong. It's actually less impressive, but then again, it's also less damaging. Like I say, maybe the reason they're not selling that Abomination Hulk fight is because it's like, no, man, that was a little too real for the people in Harlem.
And you could get Luke Cage on film. Hulk and Abomination were going too fast.
Well, who knows? But anyway, I just want those characters to come back. I want to get our Dr. Sampson back. I want our Stern back, and hey, I'd love to see Maynard come back from Jessica Jones.
Yes, because I don't know if he's in that Hulk thing or not. Because
no, he's not in the Hulk thing, but he's in Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't. Oh
no, he's not in. Well, he's the one that creates Professor Hulk.
Yeah, but I just mean in the whole Universal package thing, because the Circus of Crime was. They fought the Hulk. They fought other people too.
No, actually, Circus of Crime makes their first appearance in Daredevil.
Yes.
Because Daredevil is the one guy who's like, why is everyone? Oh, because it's a visual hypnosis, and that's not gonna have any effect on me.
Was that Daredevil or Spider-Man? Because I think there was an early issue of Amazing Spider-Man there, and then Daredevil guest starred in.
I thought it was Daredevil's main book. I know that Daredevil's in the first appearance because he's the one that's not affected.
Because that's the thing. I think it might have been Spider-Man, because I think Spider-Man might have been hypnotized with everyone else, or I know there was some story. Yeah, Daredevil wasn't affected because it was a whole visual thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's all I really know because I've really only read it in Marvel Saga. Mm-hmm. So take it for what it's worth. But it would be cool because, of course, we've got this whole thing. We need to create a Red Hulk. We got to figure out how to get this Hulk back out. So obviously, Doc Samson is going to call his colleague Maynard to help you deal with your problems. And we'll see if we get a Professor Hulk. We'll see if we get a Joe Fix-It. We'll see what we get.
Fix it.
That would be fantastic. Okay, Phil. Anything else we want to talk about tonight?
No, I think that's it. Between this and talking with Lilith last night, I think we hit everything for the week.
We hit a lot. And actually, I haven't watched my Cloak and Dagger yet, so I do have to catch up on that. I saw the first 15, 20 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. We get all the Roxxon stuff and Roxxon Golf and guy with the little fake hand saying, "I'm helping my community regrow," and Roxxon, we're a company that cares. They worship Cthulhu.
Is that arm just look similar, or does that look like the Misty Knight arm that guy had?
Well, I haven't watched all of them, but I got to think that Misty Knight's arm is coming from that plastics company.
I don't know. Should I give too much away? She gets a thing.
Don't give it away. If I'm wrong, that's fine.
Okay.
But that was my implication when they first introduced the plastics company in the first episode. That's going to tie into how Misty gets her arm, because it's supposed to be this high tech materials company.
Just the arm comes from a certain source, but I wonder if the certain source maybe outsourced this. I don't know.
Well, it might be from. If she's getting, I'm assuming it's Rand Technologies, but that doesn't mean that it's not, utilizing the materials from this super special plastics company. Anyway, but we'll see what happens, or if it's vibranium, or if it's whatever, or if it's Roxxon Tech, and hey, getting it all back to the Sentry. Loved Misty Knight in the Sentry. I love that she's back to doing police work.
Yes.
She is a woman who is, and that's one thing that I like in some of these stories is when they do recall, well, this person became a cop for a reason, and they probably are going to be much less inclined to want to be part of this vigilante group, and they'd probably be much more comfortable working with an actual agency. So that's enough of that. Philip, if people would like to talk to you, say why doesn't Charlie plan these things better so he has something to talk about and doesn't just have to ramble for 45 minutes? How can they find you?
If you want to talk to me about Charlie Esser taking time, spending time with his kids, you can always email me nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am @nightwingpdp, and email us for any Capes and Lunatics stuff. capesandlunatics@gmail.com, and the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
And of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way there are miles impossible ones to at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet Cloak and Dagger sometimes when other things don't when good friends and strippers do not prevent it. No, like I said, if it wasn't her, it would have been someone else. It's like there are forces trying to keep me away, but I will get back to it. You can always follow me on Twitter as I do that @Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for the quality. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for connecting with us this week. Please super connect with us once again next. Good night. Okay.
And if you're interested in Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantum Realm, next week, Capes and Lunatics will be our Ant-Man and the Wasp review.
Yay! I get to use my movie club because they just charged me the extra $10 for it this month. So yay! We'll make use. I still have to get my extra viewing of Black Panther in with that, and I want to see that Fantastic Four film with the guy. Was it Krasinski or something?
Krasinski? It's not even made yet.
No, but he's doing The Quiet Place. Everyone says, "Oh, it's so great."